Hey everyone, and thank you for tuning in to the latest Hurricane Tracker app video update recorded Saturday, October 1st, 2016 at around mid-afternoon. Well, we are starting to get some of the latest computer model guidance in as of the 12Z runs, and we wanted to go over some of the changes we are seeing around the 4 to 6 day mark and what if we're getting some answers as to the future track of Matthew. All right, so we're going to begin with the European model run from last night, and I'm just going to put it into motion here. And you can see Matthew down here in the central Caribbean Sea. So you can see this hurricanes turn towards the north, maybe even towards the northeast briefly. And one thing I want to point out is you're going to notice an area of low pressure over here to the north-northeast of Matthew. There's an area of disturbed weather right now in the western Atlantic. The National Hurricane Center is giving this a 20% chance of development as of the last time I looked. Now I'm going to flip over to the GFS American model, one of our other highly regarded models, and you're going to notice a big difference. The GFS has not had this area of low pressure. Now that is important because we have a ridge of high pressure that's going to be trying to rebuild across the Atlantic basin. Let me put the GFS into motion here out to um, early next week, Tuesday, crossing Cuba, and Wednesday. And what I want you to notice here, let me turn my drawing tools back on. The GFS has a ridge of high pressure that is building westward, and the winds around the high pressure flow like this. And with Matthew riding the western edge of the ridge of high pressure, the further west this high pressure ridge moves and can build in, the closer to the coast Matthew could potentially get. Now let me run the next few frames here, and you'll see the GFS over the last few runs has been doing just that, getting closer and closer to the coast. And then with the run this afternoon, it even has a landfall along the Outer Banks and Cape Lookout there in North Carolina. So let me rewind this here. And now let's look at the latest European run that just came in within the last hour. And what I want you to notice as I put this in motion, you see this area of low pressure? It's a lot weaker than what it was showing. Let me go back to where we are now and put the run in motion here. You can see it doesn't really develop that area of low pressure as it did on when I showed you a couple of moments ago from the previous European run from 0Z from overnight. So you can see it's trying to build this high pressure ridge farther west like the GFS, and the European now is trending closer to the coast as the GFS was doing. Now if you look at the European from its overnight run, let me show you here, it was taking it out to sea. You see that? How it makes that hard right turn? That's because the ridge out here is breaking down because you had this area of low pressure causing the high pressure ridge to weaken. Without that area of low pressure developing there, which is what we're seeing on the brand new run of the European model, without it developing as quickly, 3 to 4 days out, it allows that ridge of high pressure to build in a little bit more in the lower levels and allows Matthew to get a little bit closer to the coast and trend west closer to the GFS. So we are getting a little bit of consistency now that we've had this run of the European. We'll have to see if it shows up in the next run that once it gets to the central Bahamas, a bend towards the northwest or north-northwest is becoming a little more probable at this time. Again, this is still a 4 to 6 day forecast. A lot can change. Now beyond mid to late next week, we're going to have another couple factors here with the steering pattern. Let me flip back over to the GFS, and I want to show you the actual steering flow, the height anomalies here in the upper layers of the atmosphere where these storms are steered by. All right, let me turn my cursor tools back on here. We're going to have a trough of low pressure, you can see it here, over the central portions of the United States trying to swing to the east. And we're also going to have this lingering upper low trough of low pressure off of New England. Now if this area of low pressure in this upper trough kind of lingers up here, it could help to break down this ridge. And if the ridge breaks down, the most likely solution is Matthew would find that weakness and head out into the open Atlantic. If this ridge can stay strong and this low pressure moves out quickly to the east or dissipates, there's a greater chance that we could see high pressure building to the north and west of the storm, which would help drive it towards the southeastern United States. So the models, this is over a week away, just over a week away, or almost a week away, and we won't be able to get any more clarity on this situation until probably another couple of days. But I can tell you, overall, I think the models have been trending a little bit weaker with this and with more high pressure. That's kind of all we know at this point. And then the question is going to be is, does the new incoming trough of low pressure get here in time? It's always a timing issue with these things. Let me put this into motion. This is the GFS run from this afternoon. So watch Matthew here moving towards the southeast United States, and watch this trough. The trough doesn't quite get there in time on this run, and Matthew can make it to the coast, and then the trough actually captures Michael, and sorry, not Michael, it's been a long few days, folks, captures Matthew, kind of slingshots it up into New England. So there's still a lot of options on the table once we get beyond the central Bahamas. I think it's looking a little more likely that we could have stronger ridge of high pressure. And with water temperatures out here in the western Atlantic being well above normal, usually warmer ocean temperatures promote high pressure ridges building over the ocean out there, and it's been doing that for most of the summer. If you live in the southeast like I do in Atlanta, it's been a hot summer. It's finally starting to cool down a little bit, but it's been hot because we've had this persistent ridge of high pressure that has just been sitting over the southeast, and it's just been really hot, and that's been the main reason. And as this ridge sits here, these troughs and fronts that come in, they get brushed off to the north and can't make much eastward progress. So we'll have to see if that's going to be the case in about a week from now when Matthew is over here located east of Florida. I do think it's going to have to change quite a bit for Florida to be impacted. Let me turn my tools off here. I think in order for this to go towards Florida, this ridge of high pressure is going to have to build back in really strong and really fast. And in that case, it could push it more west-northwest, quicker. So that's something we'll be watching for as well. But I think the chances of it, getting into Miami are pretty low at this point. Still, you can't fully write it off. This is still 4 to 5 days away. But I think the chances are a little bit greater for maybe Jacksonville and definitely up the entire eastern seaboard. So hopefully this kind of filled you in a little bit on why these models have been going back and forth. We have many players on the field. Let me just outline them real quick here just to show you. And the more of these players you have on the field, these upper lows, these troughs of low pressure, these high pressure ridges, the more complex it is. Of course, we have the storm itself. It could change its forward speed. It could slow down. It could be stronger. It could be weaker. We have this high pressure ridge sitting out here. It could be stronger, could be weaker, could be a little farther west, could be a little farther east. And then we also have this area of low pressure out here in the western Atlantic that some of the models have been trying to develop. Again, they appear to be trending away from that. And then finally, we have this lingering upper low trough of low pressure off of New England, and we have a new trough of low pressure set to enter the scene mid to late next week. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different things, including the hurricane in the atmosphere. And the interaction between all of them is going to really determine exactly where the system goes. But I think right now, if we had to draw a cone beyond the National Hurricane Center's cone, if I had to just be completely honest with you, it looks something like that. So you could still, 5, 6, 7 days from now, it could be on the coast, could be offshore, or going well out to sea. So again, maybe we'll probably be another couple days before we can get all that resolved. But anyway, thank you for tuning in, for using the Hurricane Tracker app. If you follow us on Twitter, thank you so much for following along, and we'll see you in our next video update. Have a good day, everybody.